Hi, welcome to You Old and Retro. My name is Vincent. Welcome to another video. And today I have an unboxing of the Fujifilm X-T3 with the 18-55 f2.8 to 4 what they call the upgrade kit lens for the higher end cameras. Primarily this is a really good lens from what I've heard, and the camera has had rave reviews, excellent video, fantastic photos, great color reproduction as expected from Fuji. So without further ado, I'm gonna get this unboxed. So there's no seal on the box itself. On the box it's very clear. This is a huge box, to be fair, for the camera size, and there's very clear cut. I mean, it has some specs on the bottom. So in the box there is the camera, chargeable battery, battery charger, shoulder strap, a shoe mount flash, and obviously the kit lens and the lens hood. So let's get this shown on the road. As you can see, it's massive. I can't even see the top of the box here, but in the box we have how to focus the viewfinder, and obviously trying to take care not to damage it. You have the Fujifilm Connect leaflet, obviously connecting your registering your basically your camera to the actual Fujifilm website or the database. The usual booklets, so we have repair and warranty guides, various things on how to attach the guide, the extra bits like the flash and other light sources and stuff, and obviously the manual itself, which is a good chunky manual. It's nice, it has a nice manual. Obviously it's dead thick because in Europe it has literally every language under Europe. So I'll go through this myself, I'll bore you on camera. Let's just change the angle of the light a little bit. Now in the box it does tell you to do the Fujifilm remote, and you can get a manual. You can see here, there you go. But in the box itself we have this large box, which is I presume accessories. We have a tray which folds out, and then in that we have the camera itself. There's also another box, so I'll move this big giant ass box out of the way first. So inside we have two white boxes and a tray with the cameras. So inside the small tray, it opens on the side. Okay, we have various attachments for attaching to your camera, for putting the straps on. So you get the triangular hooks that go onto the little wrist strap parts of the camera. We get one battery, which is pretty chunky. It's rated at about 390, I believe, roughly. So battery power. This is the, I can't remember what it's called again. It's the S series battery that they use, which is slightly different. Yeah, so it's the MPW126S. This is the one where it's better for filming. You can use the older style batteries, but they're not as good because they can expand apparently because of the high usage rate. If you actually take loads of video, you need to make sure you've got the S series batteries, or ones which are rated to be really good for that. That's empty. I'll just slot everything back in because I'm not just going to get a charger, a nice portable power brick. It's quite nice. You don't always get that these days. Sometimes you just get a USB cable. The flash unit, which is quite nice. This does angle up and down, so it does presume you can flip it to one up, slightly down. It doesn't flip any further, unfortunately. It doesn't look like it anyway. And obviously you got the locking mechanism there, so that's nice. That's the one thing about this camera, it doesn't include an actual flash built into the body. So you need to be aware of that when you're taking photos. You get an adapter for, I believe this is European market, or is it, it's continental, I believe it is. You get a free pin for UK as well for the charger. On here you get the wrist strap. It's made out of leather or a leatherette of some sort. It's quite nice. Might not use this because I'm thinking of upgrading to basically using, how do you call it, some repeat design stuff. So if I do get hold of that, I'll obviously let you guys see that. So that's all in this box itself. I'll toss everything back in for now. So I'll get the camera set up. So that's the small box inside. Inside the big white box, we have, should be the lens, and it is XF. So the XC rating of lenses is usually their cheaper ranges of lenses, which is generally made out of more plastics and that kind of thing. Now, but this is an XF, so usually it's a bit higher. It's not made of metal and that kind of thing. This for a kit lens is really good because usually a kit lens is usually 3.5 and f stops to higher when you zoom in. So this is fairly consistent in terms of 2.8 to 4. So that's really good. Remember correctly, R means there's a focusing ring, and then LM means linear motor, and then OIS is optical image stabilization. So for the information, and then inside we have obviously the lens hood. This is plastic, fairly solid, and then inside the white box itself, I pull this out. Fairly compact. It is a bit bigger than the say 16 to 50 on the A6000 series that they come with, but that is metal. It's really smooth. Look at that. I mean, and then you can switch on optical image stabilization or off. And then the aperture can be switched straight to auto, or you can go to manual focus. And then you got the focusing distance there. As you can see, it's super smooth. That's pure brand new lens, so that's fantastic. Not sure what that is actually. Seems to be a ring there, and there's a ring there. Obviously, that's a zoom. What is that? I think it's a programmable ring that's part of the camera series. Let's look into that. Obviously, this is my first Fujifilm camera, so I'm to some of these items myself. And then the last thing is the camera itself. So this comes in this nice big tray, and then just gonna unseal that very carefully. So that's their voided warranty. So it's open bagged, has void sticking all over it. And then pull this out. Look at this. That is a pristine, fantastic piece of technology right here. You get the lens. Obviously, I'm gonna touch that on in a minute. You get this is an SLR style compared to my A6000. Which is a rangefinder style, because obviously the eye viewfinder is would be on here on the rangefinder style. Then have these things which you can lock and unlock, and then unlock here. So you can actually just stick it onto auto and then change the bracketing as required, which is really nice. So single shots, continuous low, continuous high, bracketing, filming. I think that's double exposure, and there's some other stuff like panorama and advanced settings there. You can change focusing things onto here, which is really cool. Menu, and you have the focusing joystick on here, which obviously you can use control where it is. It is touch screen as well, so you can just tap to obviously focus to where you need. Exposure dials, and on the front you have obviously the locking mechanism here. You'd have some sort of custom button, and you have something, not sure what that is actually. And then this is single continuous manual, so you can switch that on the fly, which is really cool. You have a dial here, obviously, and a dial here. These are apparently clicking as well. Clicking here. So they act as buttons as long as you're careful about it. You do get 2 card slots, which is fantastic. So my plan is possibly maybe to use this for more professional shoots in the future and get the actual grip, attach it on, not to worry. But this, it works really well, but as it is, it's great for my hands. My hands aren't exactly big, so at the moment I can deal with this quite well. It does fit how I would want to use it. It's good. Install here. You get headphones and microphone ports, so that's great if you want to do some filming and monitor your audio. You can attach an audio mic at the top or whatever. USB-C, so it keeps it really current. So rather than keeping micro USB, which is getting a bit old now, a lot of things being USB-C, which is great. So you can charge this as you're filming, basically. And it's got HDMI out. It does also have this is the battery grip cover area. Obviously slightly off center on, is that right, or is that just on center? It's just on center, sorry, yeah. For the tripod screw mount, and then you flip here, and then you have the battery which goes in. So all in all, a fantastically solidly built camera. I mean, I'm not got any queries about this. So I traded in my A6000 for this, along with a couple of lenses. Main reason for that is Sony really don't get behind the E-mount APS-C line very much. They release the occasional 1 or 2 lenses here and there, and don't really do too much with it. In fact, it was getting more third-party support than basically they were supporting themselves. So Sigma releasing things which were better than what they had. So what I ended up doing is thinking that if I was to work in a more professional environment in the future, get more experience, I wanted something which was a bit more easier to customize. Especially we got all these dials here, so I can handle access things. I found what the Sony system wasn't really working for me. You had the spinning dial thing, and it was just a bit of a hassle to start out and customize things over and over again. I mean, I know you could have customized it once and then just kept it like that. But what I found was basically just learning it afresh. This is a bigger camera, yes. But I wanted something which was really quality, and to be frank, the A6000 is about nearly 5 years old at this point. And the only upgrade path would have been really to get A6400 or A6500, which would have been nice for optical image stabilization. But what I found with the A6000 was I was taking photos without really needing optical stabilization. The steady shutter was built in, because that's built into a lot of lenses that I use anyway. So if I just got lenses which had the image stabilization or were fast, so didn't really require it, I wouldn't ever really need to start messing around with that. And overall, this has improved massively. I was thinking of looking at the ST2 at the moment time, and this came out at the end of last year. and the reviews have been rave. I mean, every single site has basically just put this at the top of the list as being one of the best cameras all round, basically. Especially because it was APS-C and it's holding its own with a lot of things to do with full frame. And full frame, I did try an A7 III, and it was, compared to this, it was heavy, very, very heavy. So that's one thing to consider. If I want to take this on traveling, I wouldn't have a question about it, because it is just heavy enough, but not too heavy. The A7000 was very sort of metal, very solid, which is great. But what I found was, lifting that plus a lens, it became unwieldy because it was very heavy, and it just filled my hand, and I felt the weight of the whole thing. I mean, it's like massive kudos to people who blog with those cameras, or vlog, sorry, because you get a good workout just from holding that on the end of a tripod, basically, because it's absolutely nuts. But with this, I felt that I could get something out of it by basically starting afresh, start a brand new system. The lenses aren't too expensive for this either. I mean, I picked up a good second-hand lens, just for a bit of zoom photography in the night or something like that. So this is what I was talking about before. It's XC lens. It's only a 50 to 230, but it gives me a lot of range. So in night photography, where I'm not gonna be holding the shutter open for a bit longer anyway, this is what I'll be using. It's like zooming on the moon, get the stars and stuff like that. Obviously on bright days I can use this as well. It does have image stabilization, so this was a good steal, just to get a bit of range into the lens setup without being too expensive. What I'll probably do is pick up some of the f2 lenses, maybe the f1.4s in the future. But this is what my reset link was, basically, to get this camera, really study it properly. I think with the A6000 I was guilty of just playing around with A modes and doing different modes, and it worked quite well, but in the sort of really tight confines of the body, I was fiddling around and messing with the dials and thinking, what does this do again? And then, because half the stuff isn't matte, I like it being clearly matte, so that does really help for me. Especially when you're learning. I've been through the manual of this already, and I found that it's actually quite straightforward. So I learned things from the manual. There's one thing I didn't learn from the A6000 was basically there was tons of stuff to go through, and then when you change the dials, some of the dials did certain different things. I mean, I could have customized it, but that was one thing. Is the learning curve was a bit different for me, and the menu system was horrific because I had to keep scrolling through loads of things. When I played this around in the shop, it was sort of linked. It's just like menu, and you can choose straight forward to the different things and the settings, and it made tons more sense. It's light years ahead. I know it's not as straightforward as maybe some of the Canon ones or whatever, but for me, this is a sort of compromise. It was a good upgrade, especially at the time. I mean, I do know that the A6400 has a fantastic focusing, which has stepped up the game for Sony, definitely. For me, this apparently is really good, because Fujifilm do like constant firmware upgrades, and that's one thing I found Sony didn't really do, was that even when any upgrades, it couldn't really add more features into it was made more fixes in the Sony system, whereas for this, given how the X-T1 and X-T2 worked, they constantly pushed what the inside could do on the camera, which made me choose this over another Sony. So yeah, hopefully I'll get some really good shots out of this, maybe show you some in the future, but that's my unboxing of the X-T3, and thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in another video.